gonna spend here 1 hour and a half. Yeah. I decided to change the strategy that I'm gonna do. Initially, like I said, I think yesterday, I was gonna do, after this article about the 20 graphs, I was gonna create an article that has the archetype of all the graphs and creates a template for solving any graph problem. But I think I'm gonna do things differently. I'm gonna make it my main priority speed first, and then I'll focus on improving the graphs later. So I wanna try to do as many graphs as many articles as possible, and then I will worry about the quality later. And there's two reasons for doing this. One is that I'm more of the type of person that goes into paralysis by analysis. So I analyze too much. And so I think doing things that way is gonna put me more in balance because I would have to focus more on speed. And I'm not the person that is inclined to do that. And the second reason is because ChatGPT is gonna be they're probably gonna start charging for ChatGPT at some point. So I want to get as many articles done using ChatGPT as possible. And I think this is just gonna get, like I said before on other videos, it's just gonna get worse because as and not that there's nothing that these companies can do because it's just a market dynamics thing where the more power the system has, the more polarization is gonna have because it keeps increasing the gap. So I think speed is a lot more important than quality. And even though that some people say, and I watched some videos, I think from one guy that I was watching now and the other guys, that Google is gonna penalize AI. I really don't think because then people, like one of the guys said, people are gonna start using AI to combat that as well. So I think it's just one of those things where you can't really do anything about it unless we change the whole system of the market economy, which is extremely difficult to do and to think about. So yeah, for now, I think the best strategy is to try to do as many articles as possible, and then if you get penalized, you curate the content after. I think that's the best strategy. Okay, so source, where is this page? I think it's on the documents that I changed. Yeah. How do I put this? Okay, that worked. So what I'm gonna do now, I think, is take the graph that I take the article that I just wrote, and also I put in another folder. So that because now what I'm gonna do is take this 20 graphs algorithms and I'm gonna do one article for each, and then as I do the articles for each one, I will check if the why this is happening. I'll check for the original one and try to improve it. Oh man, please don't tell me that there's an error with the routing stuff, because that's gonna be very annoying to figure out. Hmm. Yeah, I think there's a problem with the routing. Fuck. Because it was supposed to show graphs there, but it's not. Yeah, see here, you're supposed to go to graphs and then the page, but it's just stay on graphs. I'm gonna have to think about this now. I'm gonna decrease the thing there. It's kind of hard to see the monitor. There's too much light. Okay, so it looks like there is a problem with the routing on the categories component. I think I tested this, but I only tested with the one level deeper. So maybe it's probably something to do with that. When it goes 2 levels deeper, then it breaks, which is extremely annoying because it's a really difficult problem to think about. Oh, and I create the source link here component for putting the references there, so I can have another style on the thing. Let's think. I thought this was solved. Maybe it's because of the name of the files. Oh, it can't be the name because I'm using underscore on one of them. I think it has to do with this page here, because of the way that I'm getting the folders. I don't know if it is a problem to leave as MDX there as well. And there's also this thing that I didn't know about, but apparently if you pass the threshold of 128 kilobytes per page, the getStaticProps is gonna give you this warning, but it still works. So what is going on here? And it looks like it is going to the right. So I have the right directory here. And it's gonna get from post and programming. So folders path is the correct directory. And let me see. Because this is what I'm using, I think, to pass, to display the routes there. I assume that it's probably has something to do with the useRouter thing. And it's getting the correct things because it is displaying, so it should be the link that is wrong. So let me see on the other page. So I'm filtering. Now this thing I did to display based on the filters there. And this is the thing here. That's the problem. Because I'm going from the relative path. So if you go 2 levels deeper, then it doesn't take that into account, I think. So how can I solve this thing? Oh, I didn't save, that's why. So I know the solution is just to join this. Instead of making like this, I can join. I think this works. Hopefully it does. But the thing is, if I do like this, then the post is gonna contain the whole path, I think. It's still gonna be wrong, but let me think. Click here. Oh, now it works. Maybe it works. Oh, it works. Nice. But now from this page it's not gonna work. That's the problem, I think. Yeah. So what can I do? I think one of the things that I can do is to use the link from TeamUI, because now I know that the link from TeamUI gets the path from the root every time, unlike the link from Next.js. But then I'm not sure, because then I'm gonna have to think about all the other paths and if it works or not. And the problem is when it gets to this page, is the same thing that I had the problem before. So the thing is, here I'm doing if includes, then yeah, but this is supposed to be right, I think, because if includes MDX, the category should be on the so it has to be the way that I'm joining there, I think. The other one is working, because the thing has a space there. That's the problem. Let's test to see if this is the case. It's quite annoying though, I have to think about. Maybe it is worth trying to just use the other link, and then, because if I have the absolute path, I have the path from the root every time, then I can create the absolute path. It's better, I think. As this way, even though it's working now, it's not gonna work if I put the spaces on the files, and then the problem is that I have to... Well, maybe what I can do is to... Whenever I wanna do spaces, I just split by underline here. Maybe that's a better idea. And also for displaying the routes is another thing that I'm not really sure if I should remove the MDX. Which I am doing here, so I'm not sure why it's still showing here. I think that's what I'm gonna do, just because it's the easiest thing. Hopefully it still works if I put more levels. I don't want to think about that now. I want to focus on writing the articles. Because where is this post name? It's here. And so the problem is the path, the routes. Yeah, because that's the issue. It's like if I make the let me think about it. Yeah, because if I make it not having the .mdx, then it becomes harder because I have to think about the logic on the file, on the post file, to display, to remove the mdx as well when it's filtering for finding the graph. I think. I don't want to do that. I'm gonna leave it like this, I think. I don't think there's any problem with displaying .mdx. I'm live streaming the process of building anyway, so people will know anyway, regardless. Now let me test again to see if this is working. I'm gonna go from the top. Yeah. Doesn't work. It's because now when I'm clicking the name, maybe that's the reason why it doesn't. But it shouldn't be, because it doesn't have anything to do with the name there. It has to do with the link. So why when I'm on this page, it has to do with the router, that I don't understand how it works. Is the router is empty probably when I'm on the same page and then I click on another article from the same page. That should be the case because it's showing the path from the root. Or is undefined. Yeah, but if it's undefined, it means that it doesn't exist here. But the problem is I can't console log because it's not gonna show anything, I think. It's just gonna show 404. So how do I know what is on the router there? Why does it work for this, but it doesn't work for... when I click on the folder, it gives me the more arguments there on the list. But when I click on the file, I think it only gives me the file. But I'm not sure if that makes sense because it was working before with the other article in the other level, the upper level. Yeah, so clearly it's only giving me the article so far. It has to be because of this logic here, I think. Because the folder that I'm getting. But that doesn't make sense. I think that the problem is on the useRouter, I think. It gives something different when I click on the file because it stays on the same level, but then when I click on a folder it gives me another argument. I'm not really sure why. I think it's because of the way that I'm getting, at least my intuition says that, the way that I'm getting the folders here, because I'm always getting from the same level, I think. So, and this only happens when it is a file. But it's the same way that I'm getting. Let's see, post file. I'm trying to think if it is because the router, the query just gets the last level when I click on the file. The stuff that I'm using here, the router query posts just gets the last level when I click on the file. I think that's most likely what's going on. But then the problem is that how can I cache the path until that point to use it? Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. I have to think, and I have to spend a bunch of time thinking about this. Because this one works, but the other... But I guess it's just because I'm on the... Because it works now when I'm on this level, but then when I click, it changes the useRouter, I think. Because now, if I click here, it's not gonna work. And it just goes to the root again. I guess, but that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Oh, I think it's because of this thing here. So because I'm doing the path like this, so if I change here, it's probably gonna work. But then it fails on the other ones. That's the problem. It doesn't work, but it gives me a different route here. So the key is to understand what I'm getting there, I think. It's giving me the path to the other one, but I don't understand why. So post is the other page. Oh, it's because of the way that I'm console logging. So it's just giving me the path to the directory. The thing is not, it doesn't change the page when I click here. So it is giving me the other path, but I don't. Why though? Oh, now it changed. Oh, so maybe it is changing. The problem I think is gonna fail on the other ones. Maybe not. Hopefully it works now. Yeah, it's weird. So whatever one I click there is gonna stay because I'm not referencing this category here. So the question is, how do I change the last element and replace it with category? I think I have to slice this. I don't know how to do that. I have to look it up on. If I remember the slice, probably slice and length. -1 or something like that. So I think the solution is gonna be to let me think about the way that it was before. It was like this. So the problem here is that I have to get this thing here, but without the last element, and then replace that with category. And I think that probably will solve because it's working for the other paths. It's just very difficult to think about this because then you have to think about all the other different routes, and it's very confusing. Obviously I don't want to think about this now, also because I want to write the articles. Okay, so how do I do this? Because the thing is, if I remove here, then it might fail on this one. Or maybe I'm mixing things up. Maybe if I just put post, if I just put like this, it's gonna work. I'll test this. Yeah, so it doesn't work because it's undefined, but on the root directory. Yeah, so I guess I have to do. I'm gonna put post here and then post there and see if it works. And if it does, I just remove or change the conditional statement there. Yeah, but it goes undefined. Which is a problem because then if I use the post in the way that I was talking about before to remove, it's not gonna work because it's gonna give me undefined. So I have to think about a way to get the path up to the file without using the posts. How I'm gonna do that? It's very hard to do. Think about. I think I have to pass through the to props here. That's probably better than what I'm doing. I think it makes more sense actually. Yeah, I can just pass folder paths there. I didn't think of that. So in my mind, there's two key ways to solve. One is to look into the getStaticProps and then change the path or get all the paths based on what I'm getting from getStaticProps. I think that's probably the best way. I think I didn't do it like this because I didn't understand really well in the first time that I did this. But it's probably worse to use the router query, and there's probably a way to solve it just by getting the path from here, and it's probably better, I think. Let me... I think I changed this. It probably works. I want to see... The problem is that I'm not getting any information from this thing here. Oh, because I'm not clicking on the file. I'm gonna go back. Yeah, what if I did it like this instead? And then I just map through the get folder files. Because here I'm getting all the files that exist inside of the path. So why not just map here? And then I join folder paths. And console log files. And the folder path. Oh, it's concats, not join. Yeah, maybe now it will work. And then I return all paths. Oops. The thing is that I'm probably gonna have to change on the other one as well. Getting an error here. Now I don't know if I should put this on the other playlist as well, because I made videos explaining. Where do I have folder 0? I'm pretty sure I tested the... I'm getting undefined here, so that's the problem. Oh, I need to return here. That's why. Now it's gonna work, I think. Yeah. But then these needs should be split as well. Now the thing is that I'm not really sure if I should split based on the page, which is this global variable that I put here to determine which route I'm at. Good, I think I'm gonna test with this and then see if it works. Oh, that should be the one here. That should be the other way, I think. The issue with this is that I'm not really sure how robust it's gonna be, if it works. And then I probably have to remove here. No? Let me think. Yeah, because now... Yeah, I'm not sure if this is gonna work, because... Let me think. I guess I'm just gonna replace there and then see if it works or not. But I think... Because now I'm getting the full path. I'm supposed to get the full path from the programming top directory and up to whatever directory I'm at. But then I'm not sure if it works like this. Yeah, it doesn't. I think that's the issue, because even though I changed the page in this, because I'm changing the folder, but I'm still on the same level based on the dynamic routing. Or maybe it's because I have to change this on the other thing. I didn't do that. I have to change here. Oh, this after. Where am I getting this thing here? Okay, no, it's only true. Hmm. Why does it give me undefined? I have to remember what post is. So post is algorithms, which is the thing that I'm receiving as parameters. Algorithms. No, so it's probably because of this thing here. Hmm. And so it's because of this thing here. Yeah, now I'm receiving something. Yeah, so because it's when it's a file, then there is a last element, but when it's not a file, then it's different. So hopefully it's gonna work now. There's so much shit to talk about, to think about. And so but the thing is, I have to split. And it has to be to the page, I think. Yeah, so now if I take the first one, maybe it works. But so maybe I have to change here as well. Actually, why am I concatenating this thing here? If I'm gonna split based on the page, it doesn't make sense. Oh, it's because of the level, I think. That's the problem. Yeah, because I think I need to get the page included, but then I just use string literals, I think. The thing is, I'm not really sure if that's gonna work or not. The challenging thing is that there's a lot of stuff to think about. Yeah, that's the problem. Hmm. Yeah, because the problem is the page is gonna make it static. Maybe it's post path instead, but then it's not gonna work for the first one, I think. Maybe it does. Yeah, that's the issue. Because it's gonna be an empty string. Yeah, so I have to see what this post is gonna be when it's on the programming routes. Undefined. What I'm thinking about is making post 0 different than programming, and then using the logic that I was gonna use there of joining this post path. Actually, the logic has to be different, I think. If I should put here false file. I don't remember if an empty string is a positive value in JavaScript or not. I think I'm just gonna test it out. I guess I can put undefined here as well. But then it's not gonna work, I think, here. I still think that this is not gonna work, but it's probably on the right direction. Or maybe it's the other way around. I think it's not gonna work. I need to take a break from this. I think I'm gonna solve this off stream because I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time thinking. And I'm kinda tired already. The problem is if I change one thing there, then I have to think about the links again. Like how everything is connected. It's very difficult. Because when I change here is when I change here, obviously, then I have to think about this logic while I change this one. And it's very confusing to remember what I'm passing on all of different levels. But I think the way that I'm gonna solve this is by focusing on getting the correct path from the props here and then sending the correct path already and not relying on the useRouter. But I'm not really sure if that's possible or not. I think it probably is because I'm receiving the path with the parameters. Because I have all the paths for all the folders by this function here that I created. And then I pass as the parameters all the paths, so I know that on each page I'm gonna have the relative path from the programming top level, I think. So the question is how to make the logic here work so that I pass always the correct path depending on which page they are at. It should be as simple, I think. I should, because I'm receiving the path as a post, so I should send that path to the link itself. But then again, I think that's the issue and the reason why I did the things the other way using the useRouter, because if they click on the folder, then the params that I'm gonna receive are not necessarily, like there's no information about the folder that I just clicked on the route that I'm at. So I think I need to figure out a way to cache the routes somehow, so that when I click on the folder, it remembers that it is on that folder, let's say. But when it clicks on a file, it doesn't remember because I want to stay on the same level. But when I click on the folder, it remembers the folder that it clicked, so that it goes from the relative path from that folder. But that is gonna be very hard, I think, to do. if I go that route. So I think it's probably better to try to figure out by not using any cache or anything like that. But I'm just gonna have to spend a bunch of time thinking, so it's probably better to do this off stream. Spend some time more to see if I can come up with something, but it doesn't look like. And the tricky thing is that it's always gonna go from the route that it's at right now. That's the problem. Because how I'm gonna know which route I'm at if I'm receiving the relative path, I think. I hear if I didn't have, but then it fails on the other one. That's the issue. Yeah, because now I would want it should have it. But then is it gonna work on the other one? Fingers crossed. Yeah, this one might give me an error though. Yeah. What is giving... Oh, so it should be on the other one. So maybe if I copy this and do it the same way on the other one. But this one, it has to be different because it's a file. But I'm gonna think about it first. And it isn't post path on this one. But maybe it is post path. Yeah, let's try this one. Yeah, it's showing true, so yeah. It's probably the other way around. Let me think. Oh, because I'm popping here, I think. Or maybe it's just this thing here. Because I want to stay on the same level, I think. Yeah, but if it's posted there, then I want to go one level deeper, I think. Hopefully it works now. It's so difficult to think about this stuff. So confusing. It looks like it's working now. And so what I have to do is clean up change the formatting that is going to show there, and then clean up the categories one. But I think I'm going to do that off stream because I'm already tired. It's annoying because then I lose time on writing the articles, but hopefully this works now for every level. And I don't have to think about this anymore. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, like I said before in the beginning of the stream today, is that I'm gonna get one by one. I think that this one I already studied in depth, the getStaticProps, or however you say this. So I think I understand this one fairly well, not very well obviously, but the thing is I don't want to spend a lot of time on each thing. I want to write as many articles as I possibly can, as fast as possible, and then after I write a bunch, then I will refactor them. But I think I'm gonna spend a lot more time on this one, because I think around either Tuesday or Wednesday next week I'm gonna buy a domain for the blog, and I don't want to post a lot of articles before I buy a domain, because otherwise, I'm not really sure how it works, if I have to redirect people, and I don't want to do that. I don't think I'm going to gain a lot of traffic, obviously. It's going to take a long time, but I think it's better to spend more time writing these articles now and then wait for when I have the domain to start increasing the speed. But then I'm going to study each one of these one by one and build one article for each, which is going to be like an expansion of this one. And that's the ideas that I have for the next one. That's the reason why I created another folder there. And I'm gonna use ChatGPT for doing this, obviously. And that's the other thing. Until they don't start charging for ChatGPT, I wanna do as many articles as I possibly can using ChatGPT, the free version. Because I have no idea how much they are gonna charge, and it's probably gonna be very expensive. So yeah. So I think I'm gonna stop here and go have lunch, and then I might come back today after I fix the... It should be fairly easy now. I think that was the hardest part. But what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna remove this route path, since I'm not... Maybe I'll just comment it out, so in case it breaks up on the future, I know I can go back to this and try different things. But I think, yeah, the other thing I'm gonna do is just split this thing so it shows the correct name there, and I think that's pretty much all I have to do there, hopefully. And now I'm using the... I'm not really sure if I'm gonna put this video on the playlist. I'm probably gonna put this video on the playlist as well. But maybe I'll do a small video after to explain the different solution and why the other solution didn't work. But the thing is, it's gonna be hard to explain why the other solution didn't work, because I kind of understand intuitively, but to explain is harder. But it's the same issue that I have, it's the same principle that I have before, is because of the levels of the folders. If the link is not dynamic, then it breaks up the system because the data is dynamic, but the link is fixed. So you can't adapt to all the possible routes. So the issue here is that this link is not flexible enough to the amount of routes that I have there, which is the amounts of folders. So it worked well for 2 levels deep because there's 2 layers here for the flexibility. But then if you go levels deeper, it doesn't work. I think that's the reason why it broke up there. And I only tested with 1 level deeper in the beginning because I thought it would be enough. It just and I was thinking about so much other stuff that I didn't even realize. But after I was explaining in that video where I explain about the whole process about that I went to fix this. When I was making that video, I realized that it's probably a better solution to just get the paths from the getStaticProps, to make the logic based on the getStaticProps and not use the router. Because essentially, the principle is the same, but the getting from getStaticProps is more robust because it's more flexible, I think. And I think that's the thing that's the reason why I was able to fix there with changing the functions on the getStaticProps, changing the way that I'm getting the path here. In the beginning, I didn't realize this because I didn't understand really well how it works, but now I think my mind's a lot more clear on this. That's why I was able to solve. It's still very hard to think about it. And so here now I'm getting from... I'm passing the paths directly through the props, and then I'm just gonna clean the way that is displayed there. Then I don't have to do this bullshit with the route path using the router query. And the other solution to this would be obviously using the link from theme UI, I think. And in case it breaks in the future, I might have to do that, but I don't want to do that because it's going to take a lot more time and I have to think a lot more. But I can use this to... Or maybe I am using this. But I remember that I tried to switch up the links, and I know there's a difference between the Next.js link and the link from theme UI. So maybe it's the other way around? Oh no, I'm using the Next link here. Yeah, that's the difference. If I use the theme UI link, then it goes from the root path of the thing always, and I think that's a lot easier to deal with because then you can always get the full path based on whatever route they are at. But if you're using Next link, then you have to get the relative path, and then it has to be dynamic because that should change with the props, I think. Yeah, I'll think about whether or not I'm gonna make a video on this. I think I'm gonna leave this one on the other playlist, just so... because I don't wanna change the other videos as well. But maybe I will link this one to the other ones. To explain this stuff. But maybe I'll make another video as well. Yeah, but after I fix this stuff, the rest of the stuff of stream, I think I'm gonna come back and focus on writing the articles. Or yeah, you're gonna start by probably the Prim's algorithm, and I'm gonna leave this one as this because this is the one. The other ones I didn't study much. I just used ChatGPT and then I refactor a little bit, but I didn't pay attention to the actual code and how it works. And that's the thing, I'm not really sure as well if I'm gonna spend a lot of time, because I think what I'm gonna do is to get different code for the articles that... yeah, but yeah, maybe that's not the best. Because I don't want to spend a lot of time on each one, because that's gonna slow down how many articles I write, and I want to increase the speed that I'm writing. But then obviously I want to be careful because I don't want to put something there that doesn't work. So I want to understand the code enough to make sure that it works and is the right way to implement. But I don't want to spend a bunch of time thinking about the optimal way. Just put as many articles as you can. So yeah, I'm gonna have lunch today. I'm probably gonna come back today, but if not, then I'll come back tomorrow.